So let's go stay with football here. Top 10 list. So last week was the unofficial start of this, but now this week we're going to start with a top 10 list. So every week, who are the top 10 players at each position in the NFL? And we're going to start with the most obvious, famous position on the field, the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. Ravens are on the list. Can't just say who's the best Raven. We got to be objective. We got to look at the whole league. We got to look at who are the top 10 players at each position. We're going to start now. The last one of our top 10 lists is going to be right before the season starts, the week of the first game. The head coach will be the last one. We're going to do one of these every week. The top 10 players in the NFL. Top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. All right. Number 10. Detroit Lions, Jared Goff. Goff deserves to be here. I think Jared Goff, I have a little bit ahead of Baker Mayfield. It was very, very close. I have him ahead of Baker Mayfield a little bit because the Lions are a little bit better of a team, and I think Baker's production drops a little bit when he plays against better competition. That's kind of not the case with Goff. It's really close. It was really, really, really close between him and Baker Mayfield. I had Baker 11, but Goff, I think, is 10. Goff, I think, look, this was a guy that the Rams gave away. They wanted nothing to do with him. After he took them to the Super Bowl, they gave up a ton of picks to get Matt Stafford. They bring him in. Stafford actually does a great job, obviously, but Goff has taken his team all the way through some tough times, and he's turned a team that's especially a bad team that was just going to be a bridge guy and move off of him to an extension into be the leader of the franchise. So shout out Jared Goff. Massive improvement for Goff. Number 9, we were just talking about Matt Stafford. Stafford is at 9. I think if somebody says he's the best quarterback in the NFC, I don't have beef with that. I think Stafford is – I personally like to watch Matt Stafford because he's old school in the sense he throws the ball downfield. There's so many guys, Goff, they're really good with the dink and dunk. Matt Stafford is going to make plays down the field. Absolutely. He's going to have some picks, but he makes it happen. He's going to go get you those big chunks that get mixed in with that Ram run game that they love so much. So this is a good sign, I think, for them to actually get him re-signed. Why is he so low? 37 years old. So it is a bit of a projection going into the next season. How much longer can they rely on Matt Stafford to be that type of player? But I think Stafford is really good. He's going to get you a lot of passing yards. Definitely needs that protection because he's getting older. But Stafford, I think, is the goods. He's number 9. Number 8, Justin Herbert. Some might say this is a little low, but I don't think so. Herbert hasn't done anything in the playoffs. I think his regular season stats are fine. I think he does. It's certainly now working with Jim Harbaugh. It's going to be a lot because it's going to be run emphasis. He's going to have a good offensive line. All the other things he's not going to have to worry about. But he's just going to have to get it done when it matters. He does not. To me, he's always kind of moved a little slow running an offense. I notice always too with the Chargers offense, not a lot of innovation, not a lot of. Like when you see the chefs play, you see a lot of waggle, you see a lot of the moving, you see a lot of charges. It's a lot of, and that's kind of a thing. But throwing arm, athletic ability, all those other things, yards, lighting up bad teams, absolutely Herbert, no question about it. But I don't have him elite. Some people have him in the elite category. Herbert at 8, I think that's about right. A little bit behind C.J. Stroud. Stroud had a little bit of the sophomore jinx last year. Doesn't play as well on the road. That Texans line is so bad. I got to give it to him a little bit, though. I think if they can ever improve the line, and I'm not even sure they have this year, but Stroud, I think, is the real deal. Very good when they play at home. Stroud has all the tools, I think, as well. Runs the ball, not great foot speed, but not afraid to run the football, run with the ball. Excellent downfield, very accurate. Very, very accurate passer. I like Stroud. Very calm, good leader of his team. You don't see him too up or too down. I think if there is a knock, maybe it's that. Worried about if he's going to become Russell Wilson, just too nice, like to see a little bit more out of him. But other than that, Stroud, I think, is definitely number 7 as well. Jaden Daniels, number 6. I think this is one of the Commanders. This is the best Commanders quarterback since they've had Joe Theismann. And I said it because he's that good. Joe Theismann was a great quarterback for them, and Jaden Daniels is fantastic. I thought that didn't surprise me at all how well he played. He's not going. The only thing with Daniels is going to be an issue is now you've seen it, right? I think he was able to catch teams off guard because he was a rookie, but now you've seen it. But everything is there. Like Stroud, poise is incredible. That's what it is. Never rattled, never shook. Totally tore apart Detroit in the playoffs. I think they've actually gotten more weapons there as well. The sophomore jinx thing, I think, worries me a little bit because teams are. He was able to go kind of tail off a little bit in production. Let's see. Dane Daniels is fantastic. When I saw him in the draft, it was like, now, we talked about Anthony Richardson is Lamar 2.0. This is Lamar 2.0. Jaden Daniels, I think, is fantastic. Number 6 as well. Put him behind Jalen Hurts. Put some respect on Jalen Hurts' name. He's bona fide at this point. Got his Super Bowl win over the Chiefs last year. Stopped from winning 3 straight Super Bowls. It's just he doesn't throw a pretty pass. Like that. We're back. Internet must have bounced out there. So let's get back to our business here. All right. So back to it. Hurts, number 5. No question about it. The only thing I think that's kind of holding back is the fact that the throwing arm isn't great. I think like a lot of people don't like the way, frankly, it doesn't look cute him throwing the football, but everything else is in line and plays within himself. Nothing wrong with that. Doesn't like Stafford does they're coaching him right. He's doing all the things he's supposed to do. So nothing wrong with that. Hurts at 5. Number 4, 1 through 4, we know. Joe Burrow, number 4 with the Bengals. Burrow, I think the only knock on him is the passing yards is always through the roof. He's got 2 great receivers. I think he's got excellent throwing arm. Tough as I don't know what. He kind of reminds me of Jim McMahon, the way he plays. I see him wear that number 9, but definitely with a better throwing arm. Very accurate. All the tools that you need. What's wrong? 1, you're starting too slow. That's the Bengals' problem. You're starting too slow every year. You can't start every year too slow and expect to beat the Ravens and all that in this division. It's not going to work. That's the problem. It takes them a little while to get warm, and then you're behind. So that's it. But Burrow, the only guy to beat Patrick Mahomes other than Tom Brady. So that's something. That's saying a lot here. Number 4. Number 3, Josh Allen. Josh Allen is not better than Lamar Jackson. Josh Allen is not better than Lamar Jackson. He's awesome. Look, this is what if Ben Roethlisberger was ever calmer in the way he played. That's the thing. But Josh Allen is really, really good. Josh Allen is outstanding as far as everything he does on the field. But I think Josh Allen, is number 3. Lamar Jackson would be QB1 in the NFL if it wasn't for the fact that he hasn't had any playoff success. 2 years, you could argue that Lamar Jackson has been the best quarterback in the NFL. So I don't have any problem with anybody saying that. Regular season, I think he has been the best player in the NFL as far as that goes. 41 touchdowns to 4 interceptions last year. That is crazy. His percentages, everything. There's nothing missing anymore from Lamar except actually getting it done in the playoffs. So because he hasn't, I'm going to leave him behind Pat Mahomes. I think Patrick Mahomes is one of the top 20 NFL quarterbacks of all time. One of the greatest players to ever play in the history of the NFL. His numbers are dipping a bit during the season. Some of it, I think, is the talent around him as well. And he did lose last year in the Super Bowl. But I got to leave him QB until I see otherwise. So, there you go. With a little issues there. The number 1, the top 10 list. So there'll be a little break in the stream there. Top 10 quarterbacks in the National Football